Hey guys, not even going to do an intro or anything in this video. We're just going to get right into it. Got one of my favorite little Borneos here with me. He just shed, so he's going to help us out. But this is really, really important stuff. So if you watch one video start to finish, this is the one, please. Wearing my US Ark shirt again. If you're not a member of US Ark, you really need to be. I don't care if you're keeping one animal, even no animals. This legislation is going too far. It's all over the place. We're getting hammered from every angle right now. All over the country, on the federal level, on the state level. There's county and city stuff going on that I'm not even aware of at this point because there's just so much going on everywhere. So what I want to do is touch on some of the current legislation, what exactly some of it is pretty self-explanatory. Some of it I'll dive into a little bit, just give you a rundown. If you're not following US Ark, you need to. You should be a member. You should be donating. You should be helping other people understand what's going on, sharing. But at the very least, join that email list. Get these alerts so you know what's going on. Make sure you, at the very, very minimum, are responding to all these things. US Ark does a really good job of giving us a link, an opportunity, whatever we need so that we can have our voices be heard and do what we need to do to try to oppose this legislation. So some of the things that are going on right now, Alaska is trying to do pretty much a blanket salamander ban. Probably doesn't seem like a big deal to a lot of people, but legislation like that is a foothold. So once you get something like that in the door, and obviously it's going to affect anybody that has a pet salamander or anything like that, but once you get that in the door, then it sets precedents, and then you start seeing more and more and more. That's kind of a little feeler. Hey, this should be a layup. We get this pushed through, and then we can go after whatever the real agenda is. So don't let them get these layups and go in there and fight this stuff and show them that, you don't have to be from Alaska. You don't have to be from the United States. Just let them know how you feel, because every state and the United States and every country is all part of a big network. And if one place goes down, it affects that whole network. And it affects things much more broad than people realize, because even conservation efforts are based on this hobby. You have places in Africa and Asia where some of these species, including these guys, can be considered nuisance animals to most of the people. But once they have a value, then there's a value in that conservation. And a lot of these animals come from very, very poor countries. So people are eating them. People are, not concerned about conservation because they need to be concerned about putting food on the table. So if you can put them hand in hand where them being concerned about conservation helps them put food on the table, then they take an interest in it. And the hobby does that because these animals have a value. They know when they see a really nice one that if they hang on to that, somebody's going to pay them some money for it, and more money than it's worth for them to just eat it or throw it into the skin trade. So there's a lot at work here in the inner workings of this hobby and how this hobby benefits wild animals too. So people need to be aware of that. So even if you're like, I'm not really into the captive keeping or whatever, it still affects these wild populations. As long as these animals have a value, somebody's going to care to protect them. People like you and I might care to protect them always, regardless of their value, but not everybody sees it that way. To some people, these are numbers. And so if that's how we have to get them to help us, that's how we have to get them to help us. So another ban that's going on right now is in Oregon. And Oregon's doing a live animal program ban, meaning if I wanted to come educate you on these animals, I can't do that. I'm not legally allowed to transport this animal to have you then view it. And obviously, I've said 100 times before, education is the pinnacle of everything. When people have an opportunity to get an experience and to meet an animal like this and see how wonderful it is and how interesting and how pretty it is in person, it gets them interested. And that interest can go from simply being a pet owner at some point all the way up to caring about that conservation that we're talking about. That's how people get inspired. That's why so many of us grew up watching people like Steve Irwin or Mark O'Shea, and that they inspired us because their passion is contagious. And some people can transmit that on, an outlet like this. But a lot of us, it's much better in person and much better received when we can have a hands-on experience with these animals, touch it, feel it thinking in our hands and studying us as much as we're studying them. So we need to make sure that we fight those kinds of things, because once they get that foothold, it's all downhill fast. then we can't educate, we can't inspire people, we can't bring new people in to appreciate these animals. And as I said in one of those previous videos, 2/3 of people already have anxiety towards these animals. So all that outreach does is help educate and ease some of that anxiety. So imagine we're at 2/3 now with that stuff being legal. Take that away and where are we going to end up and how quickly are we going to fall? So that's a really, really important one. Another important one going on right now, South Carolina has the Tagu Ban. A lot of us have been talking about that. At this point, we're kind of at a standstill waiting on what their response is going to be to our response and everything that we put together. So hopefully you got involved in that, but it's still important to be aware that that's going on. South Carolina, if this goes through, all Tagus are now not allowed. And that's a huge issue. That's a big state and several species of animals that, people have as, emotional support animals, people have as pets, people have as, a business. And right now, given the state of things with the pandemic and how much people are suffering in business, it's really, really sad to see that this is where our elected officials are focusing their time and attention, is to further restricting people from putting food on the table, to take away that happiness from that family and take that family pet away from them that maybe has helped be the glue that holds them together through this while they're struggling, that at least they know, like, hey, I come home and this animal still loves me and cares about me while I'm depressed or upset or socially isolated. A lot of people are isolated right now and not being able to get out and see their friends and family. And now the government wants to come in and take their cherished pet away too. So these people are supposed to be working for us. Obviously, anybody with half a brain understands that they're not, but we need to stand up and fight this stuff and at least make them feel like if they're going to push this through, they're not going to get elected. We have to stop electing these people. So make this a point of emphasis when you're looking at candidates. Reach out to them and find out their position on this stuff. And they may lie to you. That's what they do. But at least do your homework and try to do your best, because we're basically shooting ourselves in the foot left and right, and we've got to stop. So we went over Alaska, Oregon, South Carolina, New York State. This is a huge one. They're trying to put a shipping ban on all birds, mammals, reptiles, and amphibians. That's just about every animal you're going to think of right now, especially as far as pets go and things like that. That's going to affect agriculture. Imagine you're a cattle farmer and you need to get some new bloodline in so you're not inbreeding. You can't import or export anything now, so you're stuck with what's in the state forever. Or you can face jail time and fines to try to keep your animals sustainable and healthy, or to feed your family, or to have a pet. Imagine you just want a really, really cool dog and the breeder is in Pennsylvania. Sorry. Now you got to go to prison. So we really, really need to fight that. I'm hoping that one's not going to pass, but we can't just sit back and hope. We have to take action and go for that. So follow USARC. These action alerts come up in your email if you're signed up, and you'll be aware of them. Follow them on Facebook. Like right now, one of these bans we're going to get to is on Facebook. It hasn't even been updated on the website yet. So you need to do that. Florida right now. Florida is a mess, and Florida keeps coming back for more and more and more and more and more. So right now, there's a 16 animal ban on the table. It would ban Burmese pythons, reticulated pythons, scrub pythons, amethystine, green anacondas, tegus, iguanas, Nile monitors, and African rocks. And that's all species of tegus. So all of that stuff would be banned. They're not going to give out any more new licenses to people if this goes through. So even if you can prove that you're a safe and responsible facility, doesn't matter. They're basically trying to blanket sweep and go after all this stuff they consider high risk, not using any scientific evidence. They're just going to use fear. And, they tell people that you need to worry about this for the ecosystem, but yet they're not discussing feral hogs. They're not discussing cats and all these other animals that are significant threats to the ecosystem. They're just targeting this stuff because, once again, they think that we're a layup and that they can roll us over, set these precedences, and then come back and keep coming back for more. On the federal level, there's stuff going on right now, including the Future Pandemics Act. So that one has been kicking around on and off for a while, and they're looking to try to ban the import of a lot of species of animals, citing the fact that, it could bring in a virus, or something like that, as if people can't transmit this stuff, and as if we haven't seen it transmit other ways. So that's one to keep an eye on. That one's in kind of the early stages right now. Now, the big one for a lot of us, all of these are huge, but this one, those of us that have been to Tinley Park, that love the experience at Tinley, it's where I got to meet people like Matt Turner, like Rich Crowley. I met Blake Wilson there. I've gotten to feed a baby kangaroo there, which was like a once-in-a-lifetime experience that I wouldn't have had without that. That's where the little Facebook page dedicated to my hairline started, with Corey and Jamie and Mike and all these people, Dylan, having a good time at my expense, which you guys know I don't mind. I'm all for it. So I'm balding. I own it. I can't see it most of the time. See, like right now, you can't really tell, other than maybe a little right here. So I just forget about it. But then Al Brown and Miss White, who I got to meet there as well, that's what started it. Al took this high-level selfie of us and posted it, and it just blew up because I said, oh my God, there's an island on my head. But all those fun experiences that we've had, sitting at Bananas, drinking as a community, that's some of the most fun that I've ever had is the whole reptile community is there. Not the whole, but a huge, people from all over the country, people from out of the country all meet there. And we get to hang out and have a good time. People like Matt Minatola, you know, and I'm sorry, I'm so short-tail centered that there's a lot of other big guys. I met Jeff Hartwig there for the first time, which was really cool for me, you know, having had Tux and my male olive python that he produced, but I never actually got to have a conversation with him until Tinley. But that's in danger right now. Tinley will cease to exist if this law in Illinois passes. This one would basically ban any event where animals are transported and then viewed by someone, which would include reptile shows. So the state of Illinois would not have a reptile show anymore. And Tinley would cease to exist. All those memories, all those people that are hoping to go to Tinley someday, it's not going to happen unless we take action. This is not the first time Illinois has tried to push this through. They just feel like now is their chance to do it. They've tried in the past. We cannot let this one succeed. This one is huge. Like I said, it's not even updated on the website, I don't think yet, but it is on the USARK Facebook page. So go to the Facebook page. You can check that out. And I'm sure it'll be on the website shortly, probably Monday or Tuesday or something. They'll get that updated. But it's very, very important. Every single one of my videos has a link to USARK. So if you're not sure how to get there, click on that link and you'll get there. There'll be a link in the description of this video as well. This is a huge deal. These are just some of the things going on. Can you imagine if New York State bans all animals, if tegus are banned in South Carolina, 16 species are banned in Florida, if Illinois no longer can have one of the biggest shows in the country and one of the best opportunities for us to get together as a community and remind ourselves how wonderful it can be to spend time with each other. And you know me, I'm not a huge people person, but I love going to Tinley. And I go every opportunity that I can. I've been there a few times and I hope to go many more. So don't let that opportunity slip away from us. I want to end this now. I don't want it to be too long, but please, guys, pay attention to this stuff. Stop sitting back expecting somebody else to fight for you. Stop sitting back saying it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. We have lost so much already, and we have so much left to lose. So be proactive, get out there, make a positive impact on the hobby, show people that we're not crazy, that we're normal people, that we have families and friends that we care about, that we enjoy spending time with our pets just like everybody else. Be positive, sell the hobby in a positive light, and get out there and do your part. Share this video, please, as much as you can. Like I said, if this is the one video you watch, the one video you share, like it, leave a comment below. It's going to help the algorithm to keep this video up there. And I know a lot of other guys are doing stuff. MJ's been out there. Kevin's been out there. Rob, Jeremy, Brian. A lot of people are out there on this, and we're out there because it's so important. Josh, I could go on for 100 people, but it needs to be 1,000 and 2,000 and 3,000. We've got to make noise to every corner of the globe. So please get out there and do your part. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you.